All right, let's now shift our attention to the other big story that we're tracking on Wion this morning, where the United States has announced a major reversal of its long-standing policy on the Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. Now, interestingly, according to this new shift in its policy, it no longer will consider these settlements that had been dubbed as illegal by the United Nations to be illegal. Now, the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that calling the establishment of civilian settlements on what is essentially encroached land is inconsistent with international law and hasn't advanced the cause of peace for Israel. Listen in.
The hard truth is, there will never be a judicial resolution to the conflict, and arguments about who is right and wrong as a matter of international law will not bring peace. This is a complex political problem that can only be solved by negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians. The United States remains deeply committed to helping facilitate peace, and I will do everything I can to help this cause.
Now, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has praised the United States announcement. Netanyahu has said that he has spoken to U.S. President and is thanked for correcting what he has now described as a historical wrong.
אזרחי ישראל, זהו יום היסטורי ועוד הישג עצום למדיניות שלנו. אחרי שהנשיא טראמפ הכיר בירושלים כבירת ישראל, הכיר בריבונותנו ברמת הגולן, עכשיו הממשל האמריקני שם קץ לשקר שההתנחלויות הן בלתי חוקיות. אני מודה לנשיא טראמפ ואני מודה למזכיר המדינה פומפאו.
And also, the U.S.'s shift in its position on these illegal Israeli settlements does not go down well on the Palestinian side. The Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat has condemned Washington's announcement, saying that this, of course, is a major threat to international peace and security. And this is what he had to say.
The statements of Secretary Pompeo constitute a total departure of the U.S. administration, or should I say the Trump administration, from international law, the rule of law, solving conflicts by peaceful means. They are replacing international law with the law of the jungle by saying settlements are illegal, Jerusalem is Israel's capital, defunding UNRWA. They are really shutting the doors of international law and opening the gates of extremism, terrorism, violence, corruption, bloodshed, and people to be forced to believe that the only way to solve problems are through violence and not through peaceful means.
Meanwhile, the relationship between the United States and Iran is at an all-time low, and now Iran has taken another step which is bound to irk the United States even more and widen the chasm between the two nations. Now, Iran has breached another cap that had been imposed on the 2015 Iranian nuclear deal that had been signed by the United States as well, but the United States, remember, has unilaterally decided to pull out of that deal. Now, as per a report by the International Atomic Energy Agency, or the IAEA, Iran has exceeded the limit that had been put on its heavy water storage capacity. The agency has verified that the heavy water production plant in Iran is in operation, and Iran's stock of heavy water is 131.5 metric tons. Now, as per the deal signed by all major world powers, Iran is allowed to store a maximum of 130 metric tons of heavy water. But the question, of course, is why a limit on the heavy water storage capacity? Now, this is because heavy water is what is described as a moderator that is used in nuclear reactors, and the IAEA report has said that Iran is using heavy waters to develop nuclear reactors of its own. And this step by Iran is not unexpected. The 2015 Iranian nuclear deal has been lying in a state of a limbo since Donald Trump had unanimously pulled out of it last year. Now, Iran has repeatedly said that it will move away from the deal as well, because the United States has virtually just junked the deal. Now, just some months back, Iran had exceeded the uranium enrichment limit, its first step moving away from the deal.